Unleash your sense of wonder and brace yourself for a jaw-dropping revelation. China and Saudi Arabia have collaborated in an audacious $50 billion project, one that involves planting trees in the scorching desert. Hold on to your seats, because we're about to reveal something that will blow your mind. In a jaw-dropping collaboration, China and Saudi Arabia have joined forces, investing a staggering $50 billion to tackle the impossible, planting trees in the heart of the desert. This mind-boggling project is set to revolutionize the region. Stay tuned as we uncover the awe-inspiring details of this groundbreaking venture that's rewriting the rules of nature and leaving everyone speechless. A stunning 36 million square kilometers of the Earth's surface are currently desertified, or 24.2% of its land surface. Urgent action is required since this alarming pattern is likely to continue and get worse. Saudi Arabia and China have formed a substantial strategic relationship to address their common problems with the desert. This cooperation's dominance of Saudi Arabia's desert over the following 3 decades is a major aspect. A significant $50 billion investment will be made in this direction with the goal of planting an astounding 10 billion trees in the arid regions. This enormous project represents an important step in reducing desertification, addressing a critical global issue. Despite the inherent difficulties of such an endeavor, Saudi Arabia could see extraordinary improvements as a result of a cooperation with China in desert control. Saudi Arabia, which is located on the Arabian Peninsula, has a wealth of oil resources. By 2022, more than 300 billion barrels of crude oil reserves will have been discovered, making up an astounding 17.8% of the world's total. It is important to note that estimating oil reserves that have not yet been found is a far trickier operation. Without a doubt, the money brought in from oil sales alone has the potential to make Saudi Arabia very wealthy. However, Saudi Arabia faces difficulties just like any other country does. For the nation, the problem of desertification presents a serious challenge. More than 95% of Saudi Arabia's terrain is desert or semi-desert, making for a difficult geographic environment. The Rub al-Khali Desert, which spans a wide area of 650,000 square kilometers, primarily inside Saudi Arabia's boundaries, is one of the most notable deserts in the area. It is extremely windy and sandy in the Rub al-Khali Desert, with wind forces reaching level 12. These powerful winds cause wide-ranging sand flows that affect the neighboring areas. Sandstorms cause more than $13 billion in economic damages in the Middle East each year. Given this worrying reality, it is imperative that this wealthy nation give desert control first priority. But why, given its wealth, has Saudi Arabia not acted? Desert control is a very difficult endeavor that calls for significant financial and technical support, as well as years of consistent work. Even though many nations make an effort to manage deserts, only China has consistently been able to shrink desert areas. Do you want to know why this project will change the world? We will explain that in a little bit. Cutting-edge technology, considerable financial effort, and long-term dedication are required for desert control. Saudi Arabia has the resources to carry out this project, but meticulous preparation, teamwork, and unshakable commitment are needed. Saudi Arabia has encountered obstacles in its effort to establish control over the desert, despite enormous efforts. Previously, the nation made investments in cutting-edge machinery to recover dry land using groundwater. Although this strategy initially appeared promising and turned some deserts into a little oasis, it quickly ran into problems as subsurface water supplies were depleted. Saudi Arabia was forced to temporarily halt its attempts to dominate the desert as a result. Despite being a wealthy country, Saudi Arabia has long struggled with a lack of trained staff and technology for desert control. In addition, the nation is particularly susceptible to bad weather due to its preponderance of arid terrain, high temperatures, and scant rainfall. Saudi Arabia is in a difficult situation in the face of these difficulties. Saudi Arabia's best chance of successfully managing its deserts under these conditions is cooperation with other nations. Saudi Arabia can more effectively combat the problem of desertification by collaborating with international partners and utilizing their knowledge, technological breakthroughs, and resources. So before proceeding further and analyzing the potential benefits of this massive project on Saudi Arabia's environment, please make sure to hit the like and subscribe button below to stay updated on the engineering marvels of the modern age. Now let's continue. Saudi Arabia and China began a remarkable voyage of cooperation in December 2022, signing cooperation projects in a variety of different disciplines, including infrastructure, healthcare, artificial intelligence, and the prevention and control of desertification. The community at large is focused on the collaborative effort to stop desertification among these amazing efforts. what specifically distinguishes this collaboration as exceptional? Let me tell you about the amazing 10 Billion Trees Project, which is the name given to the Saudi Arabia-China partnership in preventing desertification. This enormous project aims to change the ecosystem and preserve it for future generations. This enormous project, which is expected to cost over $50 billion, will likely last for close to 3 decades. The main objective of this project is to plant more than 10 billion trees in the arid desert. This bold move intends to revitalize dry regions and trigger a significant ecological shift. The project seeks to considerably expand the availability of renewable energy sources while simultaneously achieving a stunning 50% increase in renewable energy production. Saudi Arabia's ambitious project stands to greatly benefit from China's priceless know-how and cutting-edge technology in halting desertification and promoting vegetation development. A sustainable future is also ensured by China's dedication to educating a significant number of technical specialists for Saudi Arabia. These two countries' collaborative efforts play to each other's strengths and promote a beneficial collaboration. However, why did Saudi Arabia pick China in particular to work with? The growing partnership that has thrived over the previous 10 years holds the key to the solution. In particular, infrastructure and energy are two areas where Saudi Arabia and China have collaborated. Notably, Saudi Arabia spent an incredible $60 billion in 2009 to build a massive 450-kilometer section of high-speed rail between Mecca and Medina. Many nations withdrew their bids as a result of the enormous obstacles this architectural marvel, which crossed a dry desert landscape, presented. However, China bravely rose to the occasion and took on the challenging assignment. China's consistent regard for Saudi Arabia's domestic issues was a key factor in building trust between the two countries. China exhibited the highest level of professionalism throughout the cooperation process by abstaining from meddling in Saudi Arabia's internal affairs. This moral approach has made a good, long-lasting impact on Saudi Arabia. China has made significant progress against desertification, securing its place as one of the world's top nations for managing deserts. The Moas Desert, which is located entirely within China and covers a vast area of 42,200 square kilometers, receives just 440 millimeters of precipitation annually. This bleak, ecologically sensitive terrain once experienced constant sandstorms that left it bare. But over 100,000 committed people in China have worked non-stop since 1959, determined to stop this environmental destruction. Their steadfast efforts were successful in removing the Moas Desert from the history of desertification. The huge Kabuki Desert, which spans 13,900 square kilometers, is situated in Inner Mongolia, China, on the northern edge of the Ordos Plateau. This desert land had previously been ungoverned and had a meager vegetation coverage of less than 1%. However, the desert has seen a spectacular metamorphosis as a result of China's tenacious efforts. A beautiful green area covering more than 6,000 square kilometers has been created as a result of years of intensive governance measures that increased the forest coverage rate to an astonishing 16%. In addition to transforming the desert into an oasis, China's amazing accomplishment demonstrated the country's unwavering commitment to fighting desertification on a worldwide level. China has spent many years working to control deserts and has accumulated vast knowledge and skill in this area. It has sophisticated technology such as grass square technology, minimal invasive drill tree planting, and more. China's tenacious efforts to stop desertification have led to the development of these technologies. Collaboration with China is the best strategy for success because Saudi Arabia is also trying to manage its desert. It will cost more than $50 billion and take more than 30 years to complete the proposed Saudi Arabian project to plant 10 billion trees. With the completion of this project, it is clear how important desert administration is to Saudi Arabia. The country would benefit greatly from successfully halting desertification. In the beginning, it reduces the harm that deserts cause to the environment. In the Middle East, for instance, sandstorms alone cost $13 billion yearly. Significant savings can be made by fixing this problem. The future effects of unchecked desertification cannot be ignored, even though the desert issue may not pose an immediate threat to Saudi Arabia. The severity of this problem is getting worse, which will make it harder for Saudi Arabia to advance in the future. Saudi Arabia can reduce population density concerns by efficiently managing the desert by gaining more land that can be used for housing. We cannot give up in the face of difficulties since desert control has remained a global concern. With plenty of labor, supplies, and financial resources devoted to this goal, we must have unflinching will to overcome any obstacles. We must uphold our unflinching faith in humanity's capacity to overcome the desert and turn it into a lush oasis as we create a peaceful home for everyone on Earth. Let's accept this enormous challenge and work together to create a stunning oasis amid the desert nature. So that's all for today. Now it's your turn to share what you have in your mind regarding this ambitious project in the comments section below, and stay tuned for the upcoming video.